In an ancient time, when a terrible evil threatens the land, only one man can save the world.
Say what? Get out of here.
What? What's the meaning of this?
Oh, let's take off that broken record.
I say.
Here, hold my earrings while I take this monster down. I've got your back, darling. We just might burn down this town. Oh no, oh yeah. When you're up against a challenge and you need a helping hand, we've got an arsenal of fireballs, steel stilettos, and a catch. Oh yeah.
Hi, and welcome to Here Hold My Earrings. My name is Al, and I'm your DM for today. And we have Henrietta, Yvonne, Laura, Susan, Daria, and Sophie. Henrietta?
Hi, I'm Henriette. I'm from Norway, and I play a color star druid named Dalin.
Yvonne?
Hi, I'm Yvonne, and I'm from Canada, and I play Cracker, a half-orc barbarian.
I love that radio voice. I just can't get enough. Laura?
Hi, I'm Laura from Germany, and I'm playing Byleth, a Dragonborn wizard.
The nicest dragonborn in the history of Faerun.
It's true.
It is, and modest.
Very
Susan? Yeah, very exactly.
Hi, I'm Susan. I'm from America, and I play a half-elven bard named Moxie.
Not half as obnoxious as some of the bards I've seen, so well done you. It's all
I
relative.
only aim to please. And push
and
buttons.
And push buttons. And Daria, who, really, you tone it down a little bit. Just hogging so much of the spotlight there. Daria, would you like to introduce yourself?
Of course. Hi, I'm Daria from Poland, and I play a tiefling sorcerer named Zenis.
Very good. I like that. Very forceful. Very nice. And last but not least, our newest joiner, Sophie.
Hi, I'm Sophie. I play a human wizard named Charlotte. I'm from Wales.
And we're excellent. But you don't sound very Welsh, we must say, for those of you who don't know. Yeah.
I need to
Okay.
recover my accent.
No, it's fine. I mean, we don't have anybody else doing sort of a typical received pronunciation BBC accent, so that works. Very good. And I think it's... sorry, what's that?
Oh, nothing. I just said splendid.
Right. Okay. And I think Daria has volunteered to give us the recap this week.
Of course. So, we got to the Hall of the Present, where we saw very nicely dressed Valdeskar and more buffed Conan. We also saw a Sasna store with 2 female employees. Kat smelled some tea and asked Dalin for money to buy tea for himself. And in the end, Dalin bought food and tea for everyone except Byleth, who was very nice and paid for herself. Byleth got mint pig, which when she eat, she got a very nice minty breath and a piece of wood stuck in her fangs. She asked very nicely Cracker for help, and Cracker, like a professional dental hygienist, took the piece out. And the piece landed in the cup of tea that cats have. Then Dalin asks Sasna where to leave the mushroom that we get. And Sasna told her that we should leave it at the store, and they will pay us or we can get food. And Dalin gets mad because she wants money, not food, of course. It turns out that Agamemnon knows Charlotte, and she was working for him to get information about black mold. And customer service at Sasna store isn't very great. We wait a little bit for our food, of course.
There's a big environmental pandemic going on, so it's very hard to hire people.
Yeah.
Of course. I don't mean Charlotte. Charlotte was very nice. The other lady.
Thank you.
Then we all awkwardly sit in big chairs, which was made for a giant, making a lot of noise while sitting, and Valdeskar got a little bit annoyed by this, but told us to be quiet and walk away. And Zenis, of course, was not pleased seeing a child in the library, because why? Charlotte told us that she found some information about a library and about black mold. And it turns out you can literally look into your future in the Hall of the Future. And library is guarded by freestone giants. Charlotte found a few books about black mold, Driblex, and Zakmoy. And Moxie very nicely asked Conan to help her find these books. He wasn't very happy about it, but he found the books for us, gave them to us, and left. And told us also that one book was taken by Davir, one of the patron of the library. And he is currently in a Hall of the Past. Maliborn doesn't want to get a job. And then we read the books that Charlotte pointed us to. And after that, a stone giant librarian came to us and asked why we're looking for, about what we know about a black mold. Then Dalin tells her that we want to get some more information about it. And a giant librarian wants us to tell her what we know, and so we agree to write everything we know for her. And as a reward for this information, we get access to the Hall of the Mirrors in the Hall of the Future, where we can see our own future. And we also can use quarters to rest. Agamemnon gives his book to the stone giant to make a copy of it, and Moxie shows Bonecracker how to write. And she's a very good teacher, because Cracker is getting better at it. Then Byleth went to ask Conan about the artifact that she has, and after Conan couldn't roll the magical die, he said that she should ask a wizard about it, and when he realizes that we have a couple of wizards, he thought it was a joke and walks away from her. Then she asks Agamemnon about the artifact, and he says it's a very powerful magical die, which she of course knew, and give it back to Byleth, thinking that it's going to explode. And Charlotte doesn't like oysters.
Why did you record that?
I wrote it in my notes. It's very important.
Yeah, shellfish allergy, you know, it's at the wrong time. That could literally kill you. Well done. Yeah. Yep, keep going. Yep.
Then Moxie asks if anyone have some black mold for Bonecracker, and Cat walking away saying he doesn't have any, and then laughing about that it's more for him. Zenis, after writing some signs, gives them to Conan, which are no children allowed, and she's very convincing because Conan agrees to her idea and starts hanging them on the walls. Moxie is looking for a way to how to retrieve a shadow or fix a necrotic arm, and she asks Byleth for help as she can't find it herself. and find the books that they need. Then Charlotte doesn't know how to give a notice to Sasna, and Cracker gives her a good advice to just walk away. Dallin finished writing a first chapter of her book about Zack Moy, and then we went to look for the last book. Dallin tried to convince Maliborn to finally find a job, but he's not sure about it. He thinks that he has a greater purpose, but he will think about it. And after some time, Dallin saw some skeleton, and he was thinking it was a Arovar. I don't know if I say it right. And after some time of walking, we finally get to the Hall of the Past. Conan is even more buffed, and we again see a crazy child with her family. The end.
Very good. Yeah. And I think you forgot that Zenise complained about seeing more kids.
Oh, of course. She needs more paper.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. Yeah, Henrietta, did Dallin actually explain who Tarelvar is to everybody else?
No, I didn't. On purpose. Well,
He's gonna keep
Cracker
him
met
for
Need
him.
to know
himself.
basis.
Yeah, I know who this
Cracker
guy
and
is.
Violet. Yeah, Cracker and Violet know who he is. He's a lich.
Half of us know, half of us doesn't.
Yep.
Mhm.
Good enough.
Good enough. He's not a good guy. He's the one who made me evil.
Well, I mean, you had a choice.
I didn't.
He
He offered
you-
me a nightmare. Of course I'm gonna say yes.
That's a choice. You could have said
No, that's not a choice. You can't say no to a nightmare. Jesus.
Is anybody else hearing this?
I have no idea what you're talking about. I hear nothing.
A horse with a flaming mane and flaming tail who can fly? You can't say no to that.
Sure you can.
I feel like
It's
no
called
was
no.
definitely an option. Yeah, it's just
No.
as Nancy Reagan would say, just say no.
Nope.
Okay. All right. So violated a principle there. Well done, me. Well, there you go. You've explained that he's a lich.
Yeah.
And he offers things like nightmares to people.
Yep.
That's basically what you said, but somehow that makes him a bad guy.
Yep.
Anybody
Three
have
horses.
any questions for Dallin?
When did you meet him?
No, that's
Well, the first time we met him, he was a tiny skeleton child, and he didn't remember much, and he started following us around on an island with dinosaurs and stuff, and we found a temple, and I don't remember the entire story, but he turned in. Well, he started. What?
the DM cries into his dice.
Yeah, but it's a long time ago. It's over a year ago. Well, he turned into a lich, a simulacrum lich, I think, and his job was to find the phylactery of himself and restore himself to become the lich that he is. And he was really a nice guy when he was a simulacrum, but when we met the real him, he wasn't all that nice. I think he actually made a deal on Satina's soul or something as well to get her soul.
Who
So
is Satina?
oh, Satina is a sorry. Satina is a dwarf lady that traveled with us for a while, and she got arrested because she had a book overdue in a library, and She,
Bit of
Like
a
a
book
what?
thief.
yeah,
In other words, don't
So-
take the books out of the library.
right.
Okay.
So to get the whole story of the Lich, see my new book, The Quest to Save the World, Part 1.
Okay.
That is good.
Are you gonna
That is
make
good.
us pay to read it, or is it free for us?
Oh, do we get a signed copy?
Oh,
You have to. It's been a really hard work writing it all down, so I think I'm gonna take like at least 500 gold per book.
Is there a graphic novel?
Holy cow!
I was gonna say,
I need to.
You're
I
gonna give
need
a
to pay an
copy.
artist to
I
get
need
it
an audiobook.
an audiobook.
naughty
Magic
book.
mouth.
Won't you give a copy
Oh.
of this book to the Stone Giant?
They can copy it. Yes, I'm not gonna write another one, so they can copy the one I wrote.
Okay. 3 books.
500 gold per copy. Wow.
Yeah, but the story that's in that book is awesome. It contains
it.
it all.
worth it.
I'm in it. So it's worth
Yeah,
it.
you're all in it.
Cool fighting scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One line.
It's
We murdered Igmorgus. Next. Death to demon baby. Next.
blowing up a
All
temple.
right.
Oops, no, that's not in it. Sorry, I skipped that one.
We'll see. Somebody asked for an update of Chult and Port Nine Zaru, so
Yeah, but I didn't write anything in my book about us exploding the temple. It's just kind of a side note that something happened with the temple. I'm not going to say that we exploded it. In my book.
We didn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but of
It just
course,
happened.
of
Yep.
course, with the wizards that you have and the bard and group, you probably are, and the fact that you are an elf and you know a little bit about how recorded history is done, you probably would understand that when you leave a copy of something to be copied by another scribe, it very often can be reinterpreted or even have additional commentary or notes written to the margin of a large book. So
That's why I'm going to have the original on my person at all times. So if someone writes something else down and says that it was I said it, I can give them proof that it was me.
okay, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Um,
Okay.
Brownie pops up and like thieves the original.
but this is this is good. You guys should at some point all think about what your post-adventure careers would look like, because presumably at some point you'll get so old, tired, and wealthy, hopefully, that you won't want to keep running around risking your lives all the time for things that for people who don't appreciate it. Well done. Yeah. Okay. So are there any other questions about Taralvar or Satino or anything else? I don't know if Maddie actually listens to these or if she's ever going to hear this, but I mean, there you go, Maddie. That's what happens when you leave. It's like the girls at the bathroom, right? The one that didn't go to the bathroom, everybody talks about her. So, right. Any other questions for Delin? Nope. Okay. I'm surprised Zanice didn't complain another child in response to the pre-Lich Taralvar.
Yeah, the skeleton baby.
It's skeleton.
Basically
It's
the-
not a baby.
Yeah, it was kind of a baby. Yeah, it was definitely it was very cute.
Blech.
Kind of about as cute as the Illithid baby we ran into, and then it decided it wanted to eat one of our faces with its unicorn.
Well, in fairness, you killed his pet.
It ate her face. It ate her face first.
We could go on like this all day.
Oh, I know.
if I'm sure you guys know enough about children, even if you don't have any of your own, They never think they're the cause of any problems,
Nope.
which is probably why Zanice doesn't like them very much, possibly.
Possibly.
So, absolutely, she says. Okay. All right, so you're currently in the Hall of the Past. Well done there, Daria, with the good recap. You are, as Daria mentioned, staring down this beautiful, ornate, incredibly ancient feeling hallway. As far as these archives are concerned, it's a bit of a different feel from the Hall of the Present. Aside from the incredible effort that's been put into decorating it, as you can see from the paintings on the ceiling, just each and every one of these individual records, even if they are written on very thin pieces of slate, as has been described by Valdescar and Conan, as being the primary material for recording for stone giants, which I suppose makes sense. Everything here just feels older. There's even a slight comforting smell of mustiness, like a good bookstore. There are also actually quite a few records that are written on things that you would normally ascribe to books and recorded archives, for all of you primarily from the surface, such as vellum, parchment, paper, reeds. There are sections where there are just scrolls piled up in cubbies, leather-bound books. So pretty much anything you would like to try to find, you might find it here, taking into account the caveat that has been expressed before that this is Graven Hollow. It is a library run by stone giants as librarians and recorders of history, primarily for the benefit of stone giants. So that means their interests are primarily related to giant kind. And then also, because they're stone giants, they're mostly interested in the Underdark. You may struggle to find things that are 1, 2, 3, or especially 4 degrees removed, whatever that might be. You see an incredibly beautiful looking basilisk. Is it Veldescar? Presumably, but it looks very different. Svelte, fashionable. The other one was also fashionable, but that was a little bit burlier. But you know it's a basilisk from the shape. It's got 8 legs instead of 4. Otherwise, it looks very much like a lizard or a very large Komodo dragon, for example. There is this drow fellow perusing some of the shelves. He looks at you over his shoulder, but then kind of looks away. There's the fellow up here who some of you might recognize. And of course, this young lady that most of you would recognize, and flanked by 2 adult elves. And they seem to be hunched over, bent down, doing something with something on one of the lower shelves on the upper tier. And of course, there is a very buff and handsome Conan. Young, even. Yeah. Oh, by the way, speaking of Conan, so somebody went to Austria. Did she do her homework
Yeah.
assignment and ask everybody about Conan the Barbarian?
I asked a lot of people, and apparently all of them knew about him. And now I know too. You know, there's a German saying that's like,
You
"You
really
never
asked.
unlearn." And
What were their reactions? Were they
smart.
like, "What? You don't know Conan the Barbarian?"
Yeah, something like that.
Can you say it in
Classic.
German for the benefit for all of us to experience it firsthand?
Was? Du kennst Conan den Barbarian nicht? Das geht gar nicht.
Very nice.
Mm.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the experience of learning a little bit about one of Austria's greatest exports, arguably.
Yeah, I did.
Good. There you go.
That's
All
very funny.
right. It is very funny. So, what would everybody like to do?
Well, Charlotte is kind of squinting her eyes and like staring at the elves up in the balcony. And she's like,
Mm.
guys, isn't that Elnora? Didn't you say she died?
Hmm. The plot thickens.
Question mark, question mark.
Well, she did, and her parents were dead as well. But this is Graven Hollow, so it might be they might be from the past.
We also saw them in the Hall of the Future. Not the future, but the present.
Yeah, but they can travel all over the library, even if
Did
they
they ever
are
tell
from the
you what they
past.
were doing here?
No, we kind of met them when they already ghosts.
It's quite fishy. What they told me, and I'm not sure how much they told you, but they told me that they were trying to bring some kind of book into Graven Hollow, but they were very secretive about it. I couldn't actually find out what that whole thing was all about. They said that apparently they'd been told to bring it here by Mieliki in a vision, but I have no idea why a goddess of nature would have anything to
Yeah.
do with the Underdark.
We actually only met Eleonora when we met her. She was a ghost. We didn't know it at the time. She looked like a normal kid, but her parents were already dead and buried
Oh no,
when
that's
we met her.
awful.
Yeah, she was kind of sitting by the graves and crying and wanted revenge, and we gave her revenge. We killed one who captured them. So I think these are from the past, but I don't know. It's a crazy world. Anything can happen.
I wonder if it's worth trying to find out what that was all about. I'm certainly
Probably.
curious.
Do you want us to kind of flank them so they can't run away?
Roll initiative.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
First roll, everybody turns to stone.
Yeah.
Valdescar grumbling, I told you no combat.
Aw.
I was curious as to what they were trying to hide in the Hall of the Present. So maybe they're trying to hide the same book here or a different book. Who knows?
Well, we can try and flank them so that we don't have to attack them, but just corner them.
Well, since Charlotte knows them, maybe she could just get their attention.
I suppose it couldn't hurt to try. Is there a staircase somewhere?
Yes. Every one of the little cubbies where you don't see any books, there's actually a recessed staircase. It's one of these spiraling metal jobs that is very narrow, quite steep, and is constructed with wrought iron filigree.
Well, I
Just wide
suppose
enough for one humanoid or a very large giant that's crouching down.
I suppose if no one has anything pressing they'd like to attend to, I can go and say hello to their ghosts. And then Charlotte kind of like creeps on tiptoes. Here? Is this a staircase?
Sure.
And she
Why not?
climbs up the staircase and not
Clump,
up the wall.
Clump, 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 clump. Conan shouts, "Hey, get down from there!"
Sorry.
Oh, it's
Um,
okay. I just
oops.
wanted to say that.
Um, and then alone, she kind of walks up to the elves on tiptoes and like waits for them to notice her awkwardly from behind, like trying to
So
peer over their
you're
shoulders.
so you're stealthing at the same time that you're not stealthing.
Yes.
Okay. Would you like to roll a stealth check?
Yes.
Right. Everybody else just sort of hanging out down there, sipping their various cups of tea and eating whatever's left of their sustenance snacks.
I'm
going
looking at the
over.
frescoes.
Yeah, I'm going over to Conan.
Mm. Okay.
I'm with
Are you doing
Dylan.
anything with? Are you guys doing anything with Conan, or just?
I just want to ask him for another crystal. if it's possible to have more than one, if we want to try and find the books, we don't have to wait on each other.
Yeah, sure. Here. And he gives you each a
Yep.
crystal.
Thank you.
Cool.
But your DM can only do one at a time.
That's okay.
Hey, Conan, you want to arm wrestle?
Vaz, you think I'm a barbarian?
I just show him my muscles, and I'm like, like I really like your tone.
Well, thank you. But I prefer to exercise my brain muscle. I'm still improving, you see. And he takes out a small square device from a pocket underneath his loincloth that you cannot imagine actually fits under his loincloth. And he puts it down on a small round table. He pulls up 2 chairs and he suggests that you sit down.
All right.
And as you sit down, he unfolds this little device. It pops out with 2 little sections on either side that are half the width of the main section in the middle. So it's a bit like a triptych. And you see that there are little pieces inside that he takes out and he sets up a table and it looks like chess. Are you any good at chess?
What?
Chess.
What's chess?
I
I beat my chest. Ah! Again, like that. I know it's a great game. Oh.
No. Oh, fine. And he beats his chest in response. Oh, yeah.
Nice, nice. Good.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. Sorry, I have to get back to reading. I'm not going to improve myself unless I read.
Okay.
Yeah, pick a book. You can learn something useful.
Well, I can't read. Do you have any like picture books? The kind that you open and there's pictures and they just like pop up and it's 3D and exciting. Like it looks like
we have
me in
that.
the book and there's like some fighting.
We have that, yeah. And he points something out and he hands it. But before you get to open it, Charlotte, you have not successfully snuck up on the elves. They sense your presence. You think maybe because you've been traveling with them for a while, you know that elves are very good at perception generally. And they hear your clumsy human attempts at stealthing. You kind of brush into some books. There's the odd glass trinket on a table that you bump into. You might even sneeze a little bit from the dust. Perrin, the male that you know as the father, spins around and says, Charlotte, what are you doing here? I'm surprised to see you. I'm glad you are alive.
Hey, Perrin. Hey. I kind of got lost on my way in here.
So cash. Oh, I see. Well, I'm glad you're not lost anymore. Oh, I see Agamemnon's down. Oh, well, that's good. The gang's all back together, as they say. Yeah, we were just looking around. No, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. Would you like to get a cup of tea? We think we heard there's a concession stand somewhere back in the hall of the present, and very happy to, as thanks for escorting us, we'd be very happy to buy you a cup of tea and perhaps a biscuit.
Oh,
In a few minutes after we're done.
I'm fine. I've just had a cup. And she's kind of looking at them, thinking like how awkward it is because they're about to die later on. But she's like, that's fine. So you guys, now that you're here, when do you plan on heading back to Neverwinter Woods? Now that you've brought the book.
Oh, we haven't, and he looks at Marielle, his wife, as if looking for a cue. It's an interesting question, actually. We haven't had any dream visions from Myliki about returning. I suppose it depends a bit on the situation there. And if it's still overrun by orcs, we certainly wouldn't want to be walking to that. It took us quite a lot to get out, as you can certainly understand. And as you're standing there, why don't you roll perception? And Laura, why don't you roll an opposing d20?
Mhm.
Let's see.
Ooh.
19.
No.
All right.
Laura.
Charlotte,
I'm so
Charlotte
sorry.
Charlotte doesn't notice anything.
Charlotte, you're so stupid.
Silly humans. No, I'm just kidding.
All she sees is that Marielle and Elnora sort of scooch really close together, as if they've got something behind them and they're trying to not let Charlotte see.
So where's the book?
What book?
The book that the goddess Myliki told you to bring to Graven Hollow? The one you've been traveling with for months?
And he looks at Marielle, then he looks at Elnora, and then he looks back at you and he says, "Was there a book? I don't remember any. I don't remember a book. Did you remember a book, darling? I don't think there was a book. Are you sure you're all right? I mean, it's been a while since we've seen each other. Maybe you had a dream about it, or you look a bit tired, dear."
No, I'm fine. Listen, something bad is going to happen. So just tell me, where's the book?
What? What do you mean something bad's going to happen? What's going to happen?
Well, and then she kind of like looks to the side as if she doesn't know what to say. She doesn't know how much she's meant to reveal.
Yeah, quite the conundrum. What's Spylith doing in all this?
You know, at first I'm trying to look at them having a conversation, but then my eyes just wander and go to the frescoes, and they're very impressive. So could I maybe do like a history check to see what I know about them?
Of the frescoes?
Yes,
Okay,
because they look so
sure.
beautiful. Okay.
They are
Ha.
beautiful.
Hmm.
Okay.
22.
Is there some particular reason why she would be good at it? I mean, I know you're proficient in it, but what would she? What's her? Remind everybody else what Violet's background is and what she might be particularly proficient in when it comes to frescoes and art and decoration and artistic history or history
Well,
of
I
art.
mean, I studied at Conclave and I studied arts,
Mm,
or I
mm,
really like to study art, so I was really interested in
mhm,
it. And I also, I'm a sage, so I'm genuinely interested in history, so
mhm.
I would
Excellent.
like to know more about it.
Yes, absolutely. So as you review the ceiling, presumably you're primarily looking at the ceiling, but there's this is an incredibly artistically rich archive. Every nook and cranny has something. Even the stairwell that Charlotte walked up, when you pay closer attention to it, the wrought iron actually depicts a series of what appear to be stories related to some hero you don't recognize. It has a particular male, muscular hero wearing very little, carrying a spear, attacking what looks like a three-headed monster with a very long, sinewy body and long necks. And then it goes on and shows the same person trying to lift a very large boulder over its head. Similarly, when you look across the ceiling, there are many different sections that seem to depict either a story or an event. One of them you recognize in your own personal history as relating to the Dragonborn, and there are a number of Dragonborn or dragon-like creatures apparently leaving an island and heading off via boats, which you think may be related to the history of the Dragonborn and their exodus from their home after their emancipation. There are also stories that you certainly don't recognize at all, although you can recognize some of the imagery. There are lots of drow being depicted there, very often in sort of violent, aggressive depictions. And a lot of the images seem to have humanoids. For the most part, you don't know whether or not they're just humanoids like the rest of your party, or they could just be giants, because giants, although they're a separate type of race, they look humanoid in construction, until a few frescoes show you the scale difference between a bunch of what appear to be possibly dwarves armored and fighting, and then trying to face off against a massive humanoid, a bit like the one you've seen in the Hall of the Present, except not blue and not as skinny. And this one is wielding what appear to be lightning bolts from its hands.
Very cool. Violet is very impressed, and I think she's gonna take out like a little bit of paper and is just gonna sketch a bit in it, because she feels very inspired.
Okay. When she starts sketching, she realizes that at one section of it, there is the stories seem to go more from giants and humans to dragons, and then from there it translates into or transfers into more of a fiendish section. And there are images of what appear to be fiends or devils or demons. Violet isn't necessarily an expert on them, but she certainly recognized the telltale signs, lots of big horns, tails, wings, not just tiefling-like appendages, but actual true signs of horror and gruesomeness. And as she's looking at those, she senses a little throbbing coming from her backpack.
My backpack. Could I try to discern more where it's coming from, like inside the backpack? Like open it?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to open it, it's a lot easier than if you don't.
Yeah, I would like to open it. That's my plan.
When I feel like something's wrong with my car, I don't usually get a lot of success unless I open the hood and take a look.
Yeah, well.
Yes, you open your backpack, and that little magical stone that has all the funny little markings on it that you have found from on the body of Pierce Bluebottle seems to be glowing and pulsing, blue and then pink and then green and then blue and then pink.
What? That's crazy.
It
I take it out.
sure is. Okay.
Mm,
While you're contemplating that, Zanice, anything you want to say about kids in the library in the Hall of the Past?
No. No, I want to approach Drow and,
Okay.
and say, hi, are you Davir?
Excuse me. Who wants to know?
I'm Zanice.
Okay.
Are you Davir or not?
And he looks around nervously, and then he looks at Conan, and then he wiggles his fingers very quickly, and you can tell that he's casting a spell.
No. I don't mean anything bad. I just want to talk.
Right. Fine. Just give me one moment, and then he touches your forehead, unless you want to get into combat. Stop him.
Nope.
Okay. And as he touches your forehead, give me an intelligence saving throw.
15.
Okay. You sense probing inside your mind, but you manage to fend him off. Oh.
Rude.
You're very skilled.
You are rude.
But I see that your initials comments are true. Yes, I'm Viserion. I am of House de Vere of Menzoberranzan. I was at one point the Archmage of Menzoberranzan. So, but you may call me Master de Vere.
Of course, Master Davir.
Yes, that's much better. And you look at him as he sort of stands up from his slouching position. And although you're not an expert on the drow, as somebody who's been around a few wizards, you realize this guy is not dressed like a wizard. He's not even dressed like, your average successful wizard, much less an archmage. He's got like tattered clothes. Although he's got a couple of nice looking things hanging from his body, the rest of him looks a bit disheveled and maybe he's not even eaten very well. You actually think you see a moth fly away from one of his moth-eaten robes.
I would like to ask you, Master Davir. We heard that you have a book about Zakmoy.
Yes. Yes, I do.
Would you mind, Master, if I could take a look and read it, and then I will give it back to you?
And at which point, Conan, who has put away his little chess set after unsuccessfully getting Cracker to play, wanders over. Master de Vere, please remember the rules of the library. All the resources are everybody to share. Fine. And he hands it over to you. Don't move my bookmark.
Of course. Thank you so much. Thank you, Conan. You look good.
Yeah, of course. And then he walks away. You look at the book, and the bookmark happens to be on the section of Zakmoy. What a coincidence. Right. Moxie.
Mm-hmm.
I see you're up there with Charlotte, backing her up, stabbing her in the back. No, you can't stab her in the back.
I can't stab her in the back.
You could, but I mean,
Veldiskar's right there. I'm not that
Yeah.
stupid.
wouldn't go over well with anybody else either.
No, not at all. Kind of there,
Peaceable
just
Charlotte.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Moxie's not one to stab people she doesn't know in the back.
Just people she knows.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was awkwardly phrased.
Yeah.
Sort of raises more questions than it answers.
Dun, dun, dun. No, she's just kind of up there looking at the books,
Well,
Okay.
trying to nonchalantly back Charlotte up. Not sure if Elnora recognizes her or not, considering where they are. So
Mhm. Yeah. What exactly is Moxie doing to try to discern that?
I mean, she's not trying to hide, but she's just looking at the books, kind of watching. At the same
Okay.
time, to see if Elnora even makes some sort of like recognition on her face or
Mhm.
anything. I know she's kind of hiding there in the corner, but see if there's
Mhm.
any recognition on her face.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's have an insight check.
Insight 11.
You do not get the impression that Elnora recognizes you. She doesn't.
Okay.
She seems very focused on Charlotte, who she immediately recognized.
Mm-hmm.
But when you rock up, with your flaming red hair and your semi-pointed ears that you kind of are embarrassed about, I guess, and your missing shadow and your withered arm.
Yep.
Nope, she doesn't seem to know who you are, as far as you can tell. She's
Yeah.
totally fixated on Charlotte and whatever's going on behind her back and the back of Marielle, her mother.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So she's just gonna keep moving down the books, kind of like not pretending not to pay attention,
Okay.
to see if she can figure out what's being hidden behind the two.
Okay, very good. And Henrietta, was there something else that Delin wanted to do?
Did I hear the conversation between Zenise and the drow?
Did you? Were you listening?
Well, I was just standing there after I got the crystal, so
Okay,
I think I
sure.
would pay attention to stuff around me.
Yeah, well, certainly once Conan leaves and goes over to where your party member is, you probably would have been paying closer attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's say you did.
So I heard his remark about the bookmark, so I'm going to kind of just step up behind Denise and just look over her shoulder to see where the bookmark was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
And if
showing
I see
Okay.
that
her.
it's sucked moist, I'm just gonna. Oh, so you're interested in sucked moi as well?
Well, just, passing interest. Seems like an interesting topic to spend some time investigating. I've got a lot of interests, and who doesn't think demon lords are interesting? And yeah, I'm very interested. I'm interested in lots of interests, and it's always an interesting thing to think about, isn't it? I seem to be using interest a lot.
Yeah.
Well, what's your interest in Zuckmoy exactly?
Well, we are going to save the world.
Excuse me. Excuse me now. Must be all the dust.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Well, I guess you have noticed there's a lot of black mold around. Have you been
Oh.
outside in the last? When were you last outside? When did you come here?
What year is it now? 1493. Yeah. I probably, yeah, I was. At least within the last few years, definitely.
You have been in here for years?
Oh well, back and forth.
So you haven't been outside the library in years?
Um,
Do you know what's
well,
happening out there at all?
yeah. Well, I mean, all right. It's been 7 years.
Oh, 7 years. Okay.
Look,
Why?
I don't think I need to answer any questions. I mean, I'm not under interrogation here, am I?
Oh, no. I'm just wondering why you would be in here for years. I know that it's a lot of books to go through, but that seems a little bit boring.
But, and he seems to be having a bit of a glitch. Go ahead and roll intimidation, because I feel like this is a very intimidation, not interrogation.
I'm not trying to intimidate him, but
I'm intimidated.
that's a 19.
I feel like this is the conversation where mom says, "And who ate the cookies?" Really,
Yeah.
the cookies just disappeared by themselves. Nobody ate the cookies at all, and these crumbs here just happened to magically appear at the same time the cookies disappeared.
I swear, Ma, I saw the ants walk off with the cookies.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, all the whole jar that weighs about 10 kilos.
Well,
Yes. All right. Just look. It wasn't my fault. I mean, I, I, I told him it wasn't a good idea, but you know how it is. Gromf Benner, he's of the Benner family. Everybody has to suck up to Matron Benner because, she's the foremost matron mother of Menzoberranzan. And of course, her son has to be the Archmage. I told them it was a terrible idea, and did they listen to me? Of course not. They turfed me out. And, well, one thing led to another, and next thing you know, he's off trying to summon Demogorgon and Loth, and, well, of course, I got out of there as fast as I could. Wouldn't you? I mean, I was persona non grata. And on top of that, it was just bloody dangerous. I mean, we live a long time, but that assumes you live. So I left. I've been hiding out here looking for an answer. And as far as I'm concerned, they can all go screw themselves.
Okay.
I don't
what
care if they
kind-
all turn into Driders.
Yeah, true. What kind of answers to what question?
Well, how does one put the genie back in the bottle, of course? You know, he's summoned them. They've been wandering around, slowly creating all kinds of chaos and getting more and more powerful and inviting more of their kind through the portals. And I mean, it's a very slow wreck happening, isn't it? I mean, it's like a cave-in that's just sort of taking a very long time. I'm here, but I can hear all the news. I go in and to the Hall of the Present and check up on the news regularly. And Irmus, who isn't, she's not, she's very busy, obviously, but she's not unapproachable if one, sort of handles it delicately. She tells me what's going on out there. It's a complete mess. You've got demons running around the Underdark. You've got people dreaming up new ones. Apparently, the fish folk have just created all kinds of problems for themselves and everybody else. And the next thing
we
you
kind of
know,
met one of the fish people's gods or whatever. That was a kind of I think it was a demigorgon or something. It was big, and well, we ran.
I was going to say you met Demogorgon. That's not something that anybody brags about. Well, I mean, I might, but then again, I used to be the Archmage of Menzo Bronze, didn't I? Yeah. Look,
But this portal could no Saktmai. Why were you looking up Saktmai in this regard?
well, she's the one that seems to be causing the most trouble at the moment. Something
Yeah.
about them taking over a huge swathe of the Underdark and poisoning the surface.
But-
Even the Zentrum are complaining about the lack of trading opportunities. And, things are bad if they can't find a way to turn a coin on a nice disaster.
Could she come through this portal or?
Oh, they all did. I mean, one after the
Oh.
other, obviously. It wasn't like he has the power to summon them all at once.
But this
He
was
was-
7 years ago. He opened it.
Well, yeah, I mean, one opens a portal, they don't just all come marching
No,
through.
I understand. Yeah, it's just that we. How much should I tell? We kind of met Saktmai just a couple of months ago, and she was imprisoned.
Well, that would explain why she didn't show up until recently. But the thing is, it's not like there's one portal and everybody's just spending time in one little room. There are 666 layers of the abyss, to say nothing of the 9 planes of hell and the astral plane and the elemental planes and all the planes of Gehenna and everywhere else. My suspicion is that the first demon lord might even have been Fraz Erblin. And although he is the Prince of Deception, they say, he's also very powerful in his own right. At some point, some of the other ones might have noticed that he was missing from the Blood Wars. And maybe somebody even went looking for it. I mean, Gromp's initial goal was to appease Loath. And he tried summoning her, but Demogorgon stepped through. As far as we know, this is the real one, but only an avatar, and it's possible that Demogorgon is still active on his plane, taking part in whatever it is that they do. But once it became obvious that the prime material plane was up for grabs, opportunity creates its own demand, really. Now, is there a way for mere mortals like us to fix this? I don't know, but I was the Archmage of Menzo Baranza. Did I mention that? And
Yeah.
and it's actually possible, I think, to reverse the magic, at least to close the portal, and then if you could just wipe out the avatars, or maybe set up a situation where the avatars wipe themselves out, it'll buy us some time, because they wouldn't be allowed to return to the prime material plane, even if they could, for a set number of years, perhaps a century, perhaps more. That's why I'm looking it up. So there. Now,
Yeah, thank you.
no more pressure. I've had enough. Yeah,
No, just one more question. To close the portal, do we need to be in Mesobaranzan?
Well, that's where the portal is, isn't it?
Oh,
Were you planning on doing it?
well, we are here to save the world, so I guess we have to.
Oh,
But
well, in
but,
that case, let me give you my card. And he hands out a little magical card that says his name, Vizeran Devere. I can be found here some days, but actually, I think this conversation sort of leans in conspiratorially. This would be best held outside. I've got a plan, you see. I've been working on one for quite a few years, and I think it could very well work. At a minimum, we'll give him what for.
uh,
Look, I must go. Use this card to find me. It's Tower Devere. You can't miss it. You make a left at the ravine, a right at the volcano and lava pit, and you're basically there.
we
We'll
will.
talk about it there. I can get you into Menzoberranzan. I can't go myself, obviously, having been the former archmage and been somewhat of a vocal critic of the plan that eventually proved me right. Nobody wants to see my face there. But, I think we could probably find a way to get you in. Besides which, in
Oh.
order for this to work, it would require several different moving parts to come together at the same time.
Oh, we're good
well-
at that. Planning, we are good at that. And
Yes,
executing plans. That's
yes,
what we are best at.
I heard some of you have very high intelligence, actually.
Yeah. But do you know what? You should really talk to our friend back there, the other drow. He is also kind of excluded from Mesobaranzan.
And he looks over your shoulder at Maliborn, and go ahead and roll a insight check for Vizeran.
Okay, so just a D20.
Yeah,
19.
No. Oh, no, I don't think so. He and I wouldn't mix in the same circles. He's obviously a very low caste male. I was the Archmage of
Archmage.
Menzoberranzan.
Yeah. I know. I was just
He-
thinking that.
He wouldn't even
would-
rate as one of my bodyguards. He might be my valet if I was feeling generous.
Well, he was really good at fighting. He tried to kill us, but he was really
Yes.
good at fighting. Yeah.
Yes. They're all good at fighting. They're all good at something. It's, you can't be a drow, live 700 years and not be good at something. I mean, how sad would that be? 700 years and you still couldn't get good at something. I mean, you might as well just kill yourself at that stage. Sacrifice yourself to Loth. Maybe she'll give you a boon. Anyway, are you, well, here, you hold on to that. I've actually taken notes. You come find me at Tower Devere, and we'll chat there. I've got some very nice wine going to that.
Mm.
Good.
I'm going to
Well,
bring all my friends, and I'm just going to point out to,
Oh,
so you
not
don't
that
get a
big
shock
fellow.
when we.
I've
The
got-
Minotaur?
I've got quite a lot of very nice glass things. I'm afraid he'd be a bull in a china shop.
Oh no! He's good at that. He's really careful. He's a smart Minotaur. Really
What?
handy. Yeah,
No.
it is really smart.
Why is that? Did you make him smart?
Yes.
You did?
Yeah.
You
No, of course
You
not.
made him smart.
No, I didn't make him smart, but he is smart. Go talk to him. See for yourself.
No, that's all right. I can smell
even
him
the-
from here. That's fine. It's
Yeah.
fine. No.
Even the Knoll is smart.
Really? How are you
Yeah.
walking around with all these? They're very violent, the Gnolls. They follow Yidagu, and Yidagu apparently has been running around all over the Underdark, converting all these hyenas. Oh, there's two right there. Into
I
Gnolls
know.
and making them bloodthirsty creatures and starting all these murdering bands. That doesn't sound right at all.
Go talk to them. See for yourself if you don't believe me.
No, that's all right. As a former archmage of Menzoberranzan, it's not really my station to be having conversations with those kinds of people. I'm afraid I've got to go, but it was very nice
Okay.
chatting with you. And you do come find me, and we'll
I will.
figure something out with your entourage. They could probably stay in the barn or something. I'm sure we can work it out.
We'll see.
I am giving him a side eye.
Oh, you're certainly welcome, young lady. I mean, anybody with tiefling blood has got to be, at least part devil, or I suppose it could be demon. Are you demon or are you devil?
You'll find out someday.
Oh, mysterious. Oh, I like it. She's spicy. Oh, yes. Very good. Well, anyway, I look forward to hosting some of you, and we'll work it. Anyway, I really must dash. Yeah, good. Well, perhaps that's why I was supposed to be here this long. I was supposed to meet you. Possible.
Fate. Yeah, destiny.
Yeah, we certainly don't believe in things like fate, do we? I mean, gods and goddesses and demon lords, that's all fine, but fate.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That's a reach.
it's a bit of a reach. Somebody with the intellect of a former archmage of Menzoberranzan. It's...
Okay. Gonna see you later, okay?
Right. Ciao. Yes. Tutu. Tata.
Tutu.
Yeah.
Bye.
Ta-ta.
Tutu.
Yeah,
Tata.
bye.
Yeah. Take care.
Take care.
Strange fellow.
Yeah, wow. Jesus.
I can still hear you.
Oh, sorry. See ya.
I
That
think it
was
was the
weird.
Archmage.
I believe it was.
What
Might have
gave
been.
it away?
That's gonna be fun visiting him later.
A drow more full of himself than Maliborn.
Yeah. Didn't.
Well, it's a little bit early, but I feel like that's a good spot to take a break.
Yeah.
And we'll pick up with Charlotte, Perrin, Elnora, and Mariel, and Moxie with her dagger in her hand. Not entirely sure who it's for. We'll have to see. Cracker trying to figure out what chess is and how she does that with her biceps, and what Byleth gets out of charcoal sketchings of demons. To say nothing of this obvious NPC interaction with Tonker. All right. Hi, we hope you're enjoying this episode, and if so, please like and subscribe. And remember, the next time your DM says, roll initiative, yell back,
Here.
Hold my earrings.
Here, my earrings.
This is good. I think we only need this take.
Okay, so we've got Charlotte, and supported theoretically by Moxie, dealing with Perrin and Elnora and Mariel. Delin and Zanice just had a very interesting interaction. Zanice still gets to read the section on Loth, unless she doesn't want to, in which case somebody else can do it.
No, it's my book.
No children, and the books are all mine.
Yep. Okay. Fair enough.
I need to do more science.
Yeah. More signs. Yeah. Maybe you can steal a couple of pages from Violet's sketchbook.
No, if I
Only the
ask her
blank ones.
nicely, she will give them to me.
Mhm.
She's too nice.
Oh, also
Shoot.
draw like children and then like a big cross.
Wow.
They're now the best of friends.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yep.
I feel like the party is. There was a children, no children alignment axis. I think the party would be heading towards one direction. Okay. So Perrin, Elnora, and Mariel start slowly backing away from Charlotte and the encroaching Moxie. I just made them very fat. Sorry, they put on a bit of weight. Apologies. One too many biscuits.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And then Charlotte is like slowly, discreetly follows the next step they take. And she's got like a forced smile on her face, like, ooh.
Like being cornered at the bar, trying to get away from that slightly too handsy dude or lady who just won't leave you alone. Which I've had that experience too. Okay. Look, we're just going to go.
Wait,
We
have you guys met
but
my friend? My friend Foxy? And then she kind of like does a showman's flourish to like introduce Moxie. She's like waving her hands. Ta-da!
Who, me? What? Huh? Moxie's nose was buried in a book.
Perrin just sort of looks at Mariel and whispers, well, that was awkward.
You're telling me?
I think this whole gaslighting thing might just work. She seems a bit off her kilter. No, I haven't met her. Yeah, it's a pleasure. How do you do? Look, we really must go. We're late. We've got an appointment with one of the other librarians, and I think it would be best if we just look. What do you want from us, Charlotte? Do if you know something, just say so. Don't beat around the bush. I mean, as a wood elf, I quite like beating around the bush, but I think in this particular instance, we should just,
Charlotte's kind of grinning with a very toothy like smile, but it's very forced, and she's like making eyes at Moxie, like she's like looking at Moxie and then looking at the earls and then looking at Moxie because she's quite stuck. She doesn't know. She doesn't know what she should say and how much she should reveal.
Moxie just kind of like doesn't really care. She's tired of staring at elves trying to be like off kilter and fishy. And she just looks at the three of them and goes, "You dead."
And then Charlotte's mouth is like open. She's like, oh.
Moxie obviously taking to the human side of her half-elven heritage there with that rather blunt statement.
Yep.
Perrin's jaw drops. Mariel's jaw drops, and Elnora just starts crying incessantly. And she turns up and looks at her mother and says, "You said we would be all right. You said my leader would reward us. Shh, now, quiet. Be a good girl. Look, what do you mean we're dead? We can't be dead. We've done everything the goddess wanted us to do. We've brought the book, see?" And he shows it to you, but he looks up as if he was expecting some sort of divine recognition of their efforts. And you see this book finally for the first time, despite having traveled together for close to a year. And it is a little bit creepy looking, frankly. Can you all see that?
Yeah.
And the eye roams around as if it's looking at you and then kind of blinks and then reopens and stops blinking.
Charlotte like clutches her pearls if she had any. She's like, whoa. And she's like staring at the eye. If
If she had a bunch of pearls, a couple of the rest of the party would be fighting till they rip them off her neck, I suppose.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
we have enough.
And she's like, "We don't care about pearls anymore. We don't need any more."
I suppose the cat's out of the bag. Look, the goddess brought it to us in a vision, and we found it where the goddess said to look. It was in a hollow of a tree next to some dead soldiers and something that I didn't recognize. It was a puddle of some nasty looking ichor, and I just, we scooped it up. We were told to bring this here, and all would be revealed, and we would be rewarded, and that's what we've done.
You even know what the book is and or does?
What do you mean, does? It's a book.
Yeah. Books don't always just be books, especially with ones with creepy eyeballs on them.
Look, you're obviously part elf. I don't.
Moxie
where-
kind of cringes at
We're
the statement.
wood elves. We're wood elves. We're not high elves. We're not all about that, sitting around and reading books. To us, they're just a bunch of leaves with markings on them. I don't really want to read a book. I'd rather go running around and shooting rabbits and collecting herbs, and it's like the typical wood elf kind of a lifestyle. We didn't want to be scholars. We're hunters and gatherers, and we're in tune with nature and ourselves. And he sort of closes his eyes, lifts his chin, starts rubbing his nipples. It's all very nice feeling, except
Oh
that,
my God.
sometimes you get these bizarre interactions with other people who seem to think different things about being in nature,
There's nothing wrong with nature, but
No, I quite agree. And naturalists are just being natural. That's what I always say.
Uh-huh. Yes. Yet, as you called it, leaves with markings on them don't usually have blinking eyeballs. And she points to like the rest of the books around them that are kind of like just sitting there being books, as he put it.
Well, I'm not ignorant. I know that books don't always have eyes, but
Uh-huh.
I just assumed that it was a very insightful book.
Yeah. She kind
Look,
of
it's obviously special. Why would the goddess tell us to bring it if it wasn't a special book?
Oh, I don't know, because the world is ending.
Is it?
You
Well,
don't
look.
pay attention, do you?
We've been traveling in the Underdark for quite a long time. All we know is that the orcs came out of the spine of the world and they threaten Neverwinter in the woods. I mean, it's not nice, but it's not exactly new news. I mean, it happens every generation or so, really.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. She's kind
Moxie
of even
would
more
know, actually.
Yeah, this is true. Moxie's kind of even more disgusted with her elven half. And she kind of rolls her eyes and just out of the blue takes the book from him.
Ooh.
Just takes it.
Just takes
Wow.
Just grabs it. Mine.
Yeah. I mean, she is sick and tired of dealing with elves right now. She just, yeah. Her barbarian half is coming out of nowhere.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I feel like that's kind of somewhat combat-y. But yeah, go ahead. Roll initiative, and then we can see how this all plays out. Anybody else who thinks they're part of this, go ahead. That would certainly include Charlotte. Good. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Not everybody's probably in this yet. It's been kind of presumably you guys were trying to keep it on the down low so as to not cause a ruckus because you are in a library. Yvonne, would you like to roll a group initiative for the Wood Elf family? D20.
No problem.
All right. There you go. Well done, Yvonne. And I think that makes sense because they're probably a little bit surprised, right? Okay.
The naturalists, I like it.
God.
We'll call it
I'm still
6.
kind of
'cause they're-
reeling from the nipple rubbing part.
Well, they follow the goddess of nature. Okay. So Moxie has tried to grab it. I feel like that's a contested strength check.
Okay.
You go ahead and roll your strength. You can roll athletics if you've got proficiency in it. Otherwise, it doesn't matter.
I do.
You do? Oh, great. Okay. And who would like to roll the opposing? Sophie, would you like to roll the opposing?
Sure.
I love how you always have to make that sound when you're as if you were literally lifting a gigantic plastic or stone D20 and shoving it down a hill.
It won't roll. It just gets stuck.
Is there a physical effort associated with you clicking the die? Do you have to actually do something that's very hard for you to do?
I think it's just the mental aspect of like giving myself the chance.
When you take standardized tests that require using a calculator, do you have to do that throughout the entire test?
I think I probably would, to be honest.
Young lady, I find you very disruptive. Would you stop doing that, please?
It's a good
Well,
thing I
have to
failed all
ask-
those years ago.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, speaking of fail, so Susan, your attempt to wrest the book from Perrin, despite surprising him, fails. He's it's very important to him, obviously, and you know, although he wasn't expecting it, I probably should give you advantage actually, since she wasn't expecting it. I'll let you roll again, but don't think it's going to make much difference.
Ooh.
Oh, well, okay. Well, in that case, it really does make a difference. Okay. So he's surprised. Initially, you don't get very far. And then, sort of, that second effort, possibly as a result of Charlotte distracting him with a soft grunt in the background, puts him on his back heels. And he's suddenly, oh! And you come away with the book and you stumble back 5 feet. And now you're holding it, and the book is blinking at you. And you feel the tentacle stroke hairy tarantula style legs on the front of it start to wriggle around in your hands. Roll what would be a good, I guess that would be a wisdom save.
Okay.
Okay. You resist the urge to drop the book and run. So you're still holding it, but it's literally making your skin crawl. This thing, the whole book, although it is an actual book, it feels like the whole thing's alive. It's warm and pulsing. And it feels like at any minute something could just come off the cover or out of the book and start crawling under your skin, or at least on your skin. Perrin shouts, "Give that back!" But in the meantime, Charlotte, you get to go. If you shoot magic missile, you can shoot one of them at each of the family members.
That would be quite cruel.
Well, they're dying anyway, right? So
No.
what difference does it make?
But
She's
if they
like-
die here, do we meet them as they're dead elsewhere?
She's like, Roxy, what are you doing? And then she kind of like tries to move back.
Did you call her
Um,
Roxy or Moxie?
I call her Roxy.
She did. Because apparently I've got a head full of rocks because I just take books.
Okay.
He was being fishy, and this is not a good book, considering it feels like it's going to crawl. Ugh. But she doesn't let it go. Just kind of shudders as she holds on to it, in fact, even tighter.
Okay. I feel like Perrin at this stage should be like grabbing his outfit from the neck area and just like pulling it all off. A very dramatic sort of reveal. And then he's got nothing on except a fig leaf, and then he just starts dancing. But no, he won't be doing that. He is going to launch himself. Now, technically, this is sort of it's a one giant walkway, which means the two of you could stand side by side. Obviously, the perspective is a little bit unclear. So is Charlotte in front of Moxie? Is she next to Moxie? Does he have to go through Charlotte to get to Moxie?
How narrow is the thingy balcony?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's the width of a giant, which is in this case, the giants are large to huge, so it's at least 10 feet wide. So you could be standing next to each other, but you could also be in front of Moxie or in between Moxie and Perrin.
Okay, she's behind Moxie, kind of like sort of covering, as if to disguise the fact that she stole the book. She's like just blocking Moxie.
She's behind Moxie. Do you mean between Moxie and Perrin?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So from the visual perspective on the screen, she's behind. But let's say in this case, let's refer to that as being in front of Moxie, assuming you're facing toward Perrin.
Okay.
Okay. So he's going to try to reach out and at the same time pull out a dagger. He'll attack Charlotte, I suppose, to get through.
He's just
Henrietta,
gonna
do you want
stab
to?
me?
Well,
Apparently.
this is not a conversation because you already had your turn, but let's just say he goes, yeah. And then Henrietta, you go ahead and roll a d20 for Perrin. 11. What is Charlotte's armor class? He says in a very
12.
high and nervous voice.
12.
Yeah. So that's going to hit with the dagger.
Ah.
Yeah. Well, this is how Susan gets everybody into trouble usually. She starts it and then
And everybody
not
else
the-
That's what she
finishes it.
does.
not the first time she's
Nope.
okay. So Moxie having Leroy Jenkins the library, now Charlotte is going to receive the punishment of let's call it 4 points of stabbing damage.
Ouch.
Yeah. So is Charlotte bloodied?
She's bloodied. She just got stabbed.
Okay. So for her, that's a lot. The rest of the, Moxie will certainly see this. Mariel will push Elnora behind her, and she gives her something in a pouch and tells Elnora to run. And Elnora is going to run and dash down these stairs. And Mariel is going to sort of help flank Charlotte. But that was her action. Elnora goes running downstairs, shouting. And Moxie, it'll be your turn. But Conan will also start to make an appearance. Laura, why don't you roll for Conan? And
4.
ooh, okay, we're going to say Conan's a little bit slower than the elves. And let's see, Yvonne, do you want to roll for Veldeskar? There you go.
Sure, I also want to roll for myself.
Yeah, okay.
Because I'm right there. I'm going to follow him up the stairs.
Okay. Yeah.
It's been 6 seconds. We have to see that they're
Yeah.
fighting.
Well, and a screaming Elnora coming down the stairs may have
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
to do with it.
Sure. Okay. Fair enough. Oh, I did Veldeskar. Yeah. Okay. So everybody's on the board. Anybody else who wants to roll, you can. Otherwise, no worries. Yep.
Just be
If you want to.
either.
Mhm. We'll say you're
And me
5.
too.
Yeah.
I mean, we're pretty responsive. We're used to this nonsense from Moxie, so we're going to get in there fast.
Apparently,
Oh,
Byleth
okay.
is going to get there really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess technically, Byleth, it's your turn. He's
Wow.
way on the other side of the hall.
He was ready for
Very
action.
attentive.
Actually, Byleth really should be at the far end of it, let's just say.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm down there.
Mhm.
Okay. I don't want to, I don't want to do too much and do too much magic because that's not good because we're in a library, of course. So I'm just trying to use the waste of time and slow those 3
Mm.
elves.
Can you post it again?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Okay,
those
within a 40-foot cube. Now, technically, it doesn't look like 40 feet on this thing because we've got that, but the perspective is a little skewed. So I'm going to say that Elnora is not really within 40 feet anymore. It's a
Sad.
big library. Yeah.
Yeah, all right, then just those 2.
Okay. All right.
And
So they're going to
no
have to roll
wisdom.
a wisdom save. Okay. Go ahead, roll 2 saves.
9 and 14.
I was going to say 23. That's amazing.
No.
So your your spell save DC is 13. So Mariel will make her save, but Perrin won't. So he's slowed. Okay, good. Moxie.
How tall is Charlotte?
5'7".
5'7". Okay.
Charlotte is essentially giving you half cover,
Mm-hmm.
but also giving Perrin half cover.
Mm-hmm. Well, seeing Charlotte get stabbed, that was not the intention here. In still holding on to the creepy book, she kind of holds it tighter with her good arm.
Okay.
even though her arm is kind of like necrotic, it's gonna hurt like a witch to do this, but she's going to grit her teeth and grab Charlotte and kind of turn to put herself between Perrin and Charlotte.
Are we just doing a
Okay.
switcheroo?
Hmm?
Are we doing a switcheroo?
Pretty much. Because Mox did
Okay.
not intend for you to, like, get all squishy there.
Okay. Yeah. So because Charlotte is not using her own movement, she will not trigger an opportunity attack, and also because the waste of time is active on slow, I think that means he can't take a reaction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah. I mean, does Charlotte want to resist?
No, she's
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, I'll just say it's automatic.
Okay.
Is she
So
upside down now too?
Yeah, we're on our heads now.
I know. Just did it to be funny. Relax.
Yeah.
Chill out.
That was kind of funny though. It was. And trying to get Charlotte to just go so she doesn't end
Okay.
up dead. Like, just kind of move her out of the way.
Like Pierce Blue Bottle.
Hey, we're trying to be. This is not an NPC. This one means more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because the NPCs aren't real. They don't have feelings like the D. Okay. So that's your action. Good action. Charlotte, you have your turn. You can do what you would like.
I want to cast sleep.
On
Post
it in the chat. Charlotte, quite possibly the most constipated wizard we've ever met. Now, the thing is with Charlotte, what's Charlotte's background again?
She's an urchin from the
Right.
streets of Neverwinter.
From the streets of, so not really big on the elf thing. And although you did travel with them for a long time, maybe you never used sleep on them, because why would you, right? It's a combat spell. So anybody see where I'm going with this one?
Yeah. Immune to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm pretty sure Moxie's also immune, right?
I'm sorry?
Moxie's also immune to sleep.
I don't think so.
Half elves? Be in your racial description. If it isn't, that'd be funnier. I'm pretty sure she is, but because Susan thinks she's not, so I'm gonna go with Susan, because
that works.
A, know your character. B, it's funny. So Charlotte, you cast sleep. You watch as the two adult elves stand there and sort of blink. One of them yawns a little bit, and then Moxie just collapses on the floor, snoring heavily.
Oh, yes.
On top of the books, so now she's like on. Now the book's even closer to her body.
Yeah, there you go. Well done. At which point, Veldeskar. No fighting. Boy, I was not expecting you to get into a fight with the basilisk. I mean, whoever really does that? This is going to be great.
Apparently, Moxie does. She gets into a fight with everybody.
I feel like you should change your race to half orc.
Yeah.
Okay. So Perrin is definitely guilty of attacking because he actually did some damage to Charlotte, and she's bleeding. Charlotte looks guilty because she's bleeding. Moxie's passed out, so maybe she's not actually a valid target. Veldeskar sort of ambles over, and she, in this case, because she's actually a female in this version. Nobody's asked any questions about it so far. Interesting. So she's not going to be close enough to do anything just yet, but she's going to move close enough, and she starts lifting her head up and looking at you with that evil eye. You start to sense a tingling in your extremities, Charlotte. that makes you feel numb. Nothing's going to happen just yet. Zanice?
Just want to stay away or no,
You're
Eleonora?
going to kill Elnora?
No. Valdescar is there. Just
The unarmed child in a library.
nods her head like, nope, not going anywhere.
Okay. So you said you're grabbing her, did you say?
No, just nod my head and standing in her way.
Okay. I see. Okay. So kind of intimidating?
Let's say that.
I mean, why would she listen to you, right? What is it you're trying to do exactly?
I'm
Convincing? Persuasion?
No, just trying to stay in her way, and when she try to run, and then I will grab her.
Okay, so that we'll call that a readied action.
Yeah.
And you're going to try to ready an action to grab her if she tries to run past you. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, but you're not grabbing her now.
No.
Okay, good. Very good. Okay, Cracker.
Well, I'm with Conan, so I'm kind of behind him. I don't know whereabouts he is up the stairs yet, but on my way.
Conan, I don't think has moved yet.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna just follow him. Can I delay my turn?
You can ready an action, but you can't like
Okay.
move on a ready basis. You can only ready an action. You can't ready movement, but you can ready the dash action,
Yeah, I'm gonna ready the dash action.
right? Which then uses up your action, so you won't have an action after.
That's okay. It seems like the best idea at the moment.
Okay, so you're
I don't know
ready.
if I want to take an action, but I'm ready to dash.
Okay, and what's the catalyst for dashing?
Conan runs.
If Conan runs upstairs, you're going to run upstairs with him.
Absolutely. Yep, I'm right with him.
I see. Okay, and if he does nothing, then you do nothing.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay. The naturalists. Let's see. Perrin is not asleep, but he is slowed. Marielle is not asleep, and she is not slowed. And Elnora is not asleep and not slowed. Perrin is going to, I guess Moxie's sleeping. Perrin's just going to move over to the side of Moxie and try to get the book, because that's really his focus. And actually, Marielle will do the same. So Moxie's lying on the floor. So Perrin's going to be standing next to Charlotte. Marielle will be standing sort of diagonally across from Charlotte, next to Moxie. Valdescar is on the other side of all of you. And Perrin will roll. Oh, actually, I forgot. Moxie's got the book. I apologize.
And she's
So
holding
Perrin's-
it quite tightly under her body when she
She's
fell.
asleep, so
Yeah.
she can't do it. So
No.
Perrin's going to just take the book. No, you're asleep. You're asleep. You can't do anything when you're sleeping.
Mhm.
You are completely unconscious unless there's no
Nope,
there's
we're
no
good.
ability to do anything. So Perrin's going to take the book from Moxie, and Perrin is going to run down the stairs, but he can't get very far. Mario will take the book from Perrin and continue running down the stairs past Elnora. And since nobody had a ready action to catch Mariel, she's going to actually get, she's a wood elf, so she gets pretty darn far. And Delin, it'll be your turn.
You need to stop the fighting. I am, as she comes towards me, I'm just gonna yell at her, please stop, and we can tell you what happens to you in the future.
Ooh. Very interesting twist. So I think that's persuasion, I guess. Yeah, that was very good. You go ahead and have a roll.
I'm gonna use my inspiration.
Excellent.
One.
Wow.
Yeah.
First time. Not the
And
first
then,
time, but almost the first time.
Well, I've had mine for like 4 months now, so.
And it
21.
worked. The 21 on the second roll. Well done.
Yeah.
She looks at you, and although she was moving, she seems to be stopping to consider maybe your words, maybe her life choices. We'll figure it out later. Conan will come over. Hey, what's going on here? And he'll try to intercept both Marielle as well as Elnora. since they seem to be doing all the running. Okay, I obviously upset somebody. Byleth, your turn.
I'm gonna. Well, I'm also with Dylan's plan. You know, I want to stop fighting. And you know, she seems to, you know, be a little less hasty than she was before. So I'm just gonna listen in on the conversation. But if she decides to flee, then I will use the rope of entanglement. So I'm gonna ready the action if she's gonna make any dashing.
Sure. Go ahead and post it in the chat just so we know what it does. Excellent. The readied action being used widely. DM cries in happiness. They're learning tactics. It's so beautiful. All right. Well done. Moxie is busy snoring away. How does Moxie sound when she sleeps? I say snoring. I don't know. Maybe she's not snoring.
She kind of makes little chirpy noises in her sleep.
Okay. Go ahead.
Chirp, chirp. She sounds like a little bird. Chirp.
That is not where I expected you to go with that one, but yep, it works. Okay. Charlotte.
If I use help, will it wake her up?
Sure. You can even just take an action just to wake her up.
Okay, I shake her awake.
Huh? Who? What? What happened?
So, considering that she is indirectly the reason why you got stabbed, is it just shaking, or are you gonna like an open hand
No,
across the
I don't think he holds a
face?
grudge. No.
Gives her a left boot in the rear.
I mean, it's Charlotte's fault that she got sleeped. So
Okay.
yeah, she's just shaking her. Wake up!
Okay.
They got the boat.
Okay. So Moxie, you are awake, but you're still prone. You can stand up on your turn for half movement. Charlotte is bleeding profusely. I'm not saying that somebody wants to cast a healing spell. I'm not saying it, but you know. All right.
you
Well
never know.
done. Veldiscar. I told you all, no fighting. Go on. You two roll a d20. Whoever rolls higher on a straight roll gets Veldiscar's anger.
Huh?
Basically, he's talking to us.
Yeah, Susan and Sophie, you guys are going to roll off.
Sorry.
Oh, no. Sophie, I just want to say it's been a real pleasure. You're a lovely, lovely person. I think you role played your character really nicely. Veldiscar, standing next to you, rears up on its last four legs. She stares down at you, and for the first time, you two make eye contact. Sophie, let's have Charlotte roll a Constitution saving. You feel like your legs and your arms and your neck are restrained immediately. You can't move. You feel like everything's turning to lead. The rest of you can even hear the sound of the transformation beginning. Like ice breaking up. Moxie, standing next to Charlotte, sees her starting to turn gray in the face, her hair, even her clothing. She isn't fully petrified yet, but it's clear that his process has started. Zanice.
Just standing, hearing what
Okay.
Berlin said.
Okay. So what are you doing anything with your action at all?
No.
Okay, so if anybody does anything, Zanice is not going to react.
Nope.
Okay. Very good. Fair enough. Cracker.
I'm gonna reach out because she's right beside me, and I'm just gonna put my arm around her shoulder and spin her around to face Conan.
Okay. So grappling?
Kind of grappling, yeah, in a very gentle sort of, I'm bigger than you are kind of way.
Mm-hmm. That's a
So is
grapple.
that just strength check?
Yeah, it'll be a grapple check. So that'll be your strength versus their choice of strength or dexterity. And in Marielle's case, it'll be dexterity. So you go ahead and roll your strength. And Sophie, why don't you roll the opposing d20?
I don't have a good grip. 9. She's very small.
Yeah, if you were raging, you'd have advantage, but you don't.
I don't want to rage
not.
because we're told not to fight. So I'm trying to behave.
Exactly. Well done. Yeah, good. Of course, you also could have used your inspiration like some people did.
Oh, damn
Uh,
it. I still have it.
no!
I thought it was gone. It's still
You
there.
you
Yeah, forget it.
you guys all had inspiration from all the times you guys have
From
done the morning.
ages.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. So Charlotte, Sophie rolled an 11, and Marielle will do a little pirouette and dance, and you even see some magical leaves fall out of her hair as she avoids your gentle attempt to restrain her. And it is their turn. Perrin, still slowed, will continue to make his way down. Elnora will take the cue from Marielle. Marielle actually was swayed by Delin's words, and she'll stop dead in her tracks and she'll respond to Delin and say, "Don't understand. The goddess told us we had to bring this book to Gravenhollow, and that's what we're doing. It's what our goddess has told us to do. What else should we do?" And since she's talking to Delin, Henrietta, Delin can respond before your turn.
If we all just calm down and stop fighting. You are in Gravenhollow. You have fulfilled your mission.
Very good. Okay. I feel like that's a good persuasion check there.
Another one?
Well, the first one was to get her to stop running, right?
Yeah, I know. But that was so good.
It was so good. And I lowered
Oh,
the
24.
okay.
Woo!
Even better.
Well
I'm on
done.
a roll.
You are on a roll. So
Literally.
she also, the words you said resonated. She looks down at the book and she looks behind her at her husband and her child. And she sighs, closes her eyes. She puts the book gently down on one of the tables nearby, and she touches it briefly across the top, almost as if she's saying goodbye to it. And she looks at you, grits her teeth, closes her mouth tightly, her lips pressed together, nods in acknowledgement, and turns. And as she does, she takes Elnora's hand in one and then Perrin's hand in the other and says, "We should go. I feel like this is the time for us to go find a new and better future for us, for our little family." And Perrin looks at her and says, "I suppose so, yes. It'll be a relief to have put this behind us. I suppose things can only get better from here, really." And they walk out. Of course, some of you know things don't really get better.
Well, at least I didn't have to tell them that they're going to die. All of them. That was easy.
Somebody's already done that.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
All right. It's actually technically Delin's turn.
I'm just gonna yell at the basilisk. The fighting stops. You guys stopped. Please stop. Everything's
Okay.
cool.
Okay. I wonder if Veldeskar would look at you.
Oh no, please don't look at me.
I mean, it's kind of like going up to a bunch of people in a crowd and shouting, "Hey, you!" And everybody's going to look, right? I mean, isn't that kind of like what's basically happening? Yeah. Go ahead and roll another persuasion check.
19.
All right. Okay. So, Veldeskar seems to sort of turn its head and then look down, but not down as in over the edge toward you, more like looking down to avert its gaze. Conan will look at all of you. "That's better. Yeah. Where was I?" He goes back to reading his book. And Byleth, does Byleth want to do anything?
Is Charlotte's condition getting better? Like she,
No.
you know?
Nope.
I'm just gonna like
Maybe
kind of
if you
say
kill Veldeskar, you can stop it.
sure. Seems like an option. Well, I'm just gonna say to her, I'm sorry for fighting and also avoiding her gaze
Okay. Yeah.
and just hope for the best.
I will tack on that as a help action essentially to the roll that was already given. So that's very good. At this stage, it's essentially equivalent to a 24. So well done. Moxie, laying on the ground, chirping, or stop chirping now.
She stopped chirping because she's awake now. Um, she kind
Gonna
of
stand up.
Yeah, she's gonna stand up, and kind of look at Charlotte and kind of like cringe, and then she looks at Veldeskar and not knowing that she's a basilisk and what she started doing to Charlotte, but not 100% sure how to reverse it. She
Or if
basically,
it can be reversed.
or if it can be reversed, kind of pleads with Veldeskar to reverse it. It wasn't Charlotte's fault. They tried to bring a living evil book into the library, and I took it.
Okay, very good.
Do you want a
Charlotte.
persuasion roll on that one or no?
No,
Okay.
I think we're good. Although you could have taken it another way and it could have gone very badly.
Yeah.
Charlotte, it is your turn. Please roll another Constitution saving throw.
I'll use my inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
Very good. Yeah, so you feel the effects of the rigidity that was starting to take over begin to reverse. Your neck frees up first, then your hands, then your fingertips, your knees, and then your ankles and your toes. You shake it all off. The tingling persists for a period of time, but you breathe a sigh of relief as you can tell that you're no longer in the process of being petrified. And Moxie can see that Charlotte's color has returned to her face to the extent that she had a lot of color, which was a load.
More color than Moxie does.
Veldeskar looks at all of you and then looks at Tonker. Any problems with you, wizard boy? No, I don't think so. And he sort of backs off. And that'll be the end of the combat. Well done. You now see a book. Conan looks at you and looks at the book. I don't know what to do with this. I have to ask one of the librarians. Maybe Ulthar. But you said it was evil.
Very. Moxie kind of shouts from the rafters.
Shh. Quiet. Lower your voice.
Sorry. But yes, it is very evil. It kind of emanates evil.
Let me go get Ulthar. Conan disappears behind a section of the books, presses what seems to be a bookshelf, and you all watch as the shelf actually just sort of turns on hidden hinges, and he walks through a passageway. A moment later, he comes back, and with him is a huge, very, very impressive looking giant. There is a book of evil.
Well, there's a book. I don't know if it's evil. I haven't read it.
Graven Hollow is a library and archive of knowledge. It is not a repository for evil artifacts.
So we take it with us? Or
We could hold it, or you could take it.
I really want to know what's in it.
Evil is as evil does.
Are you saying I'm evil? Because I want to know what's in it?
Fine. We have agreed. You may take the book because it was never part of the archives. And he hands you the book.
Okay, thank you.
And as soon as you touch it, you feel this thing is just a malevolent force. It may be evil, or maybe it's not, but at a minimum, it's extremely chaotic. everything that you feel is a natural law, and within a few centimeters of it, feels like it's no longer applicable. The skin on your hands, although it looks like it hasn't changed, it feels like it's being rubbed and warped. You've got sensations of heat and cold and slime all coursing through your fingers and your wrists. And if you're going to put it anywhere near your body, in your backpack, for example, it just keeps making that local area feel incredibly uncomfortable.
Is there a lock on it or something, or is it just open?
Are you going to try to open it?
I am going to ask everyone to step away. Eh, Violet, I'm going
I
to
could
go back
also-
there.
Yeah. I mean, I
While they're
could
doing
also
that,
use identify.
yeah, well, that would
Maybe
work
you.
too.
I want
But-
to try.
Open it. Well,
Okay.
while all that's going on, Moxie's going to cast Healing Word on Charlotte.
Yeah. Okay, Charlotte, you are now back at full strength.
Oh,
Whew.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, you
Wait.
gingerly.
Wait. Just in case, maybe.
He's like,
Because
I'm
I
gonna
don't know.
make sure.
Put on my
That's basically how
welder
I tell my
gloves.
dog to. That's what I do to my dog before I feed him. He's like sitting there.
Yeah. Wait. Just wait a minute. I know that some of our earlier party members had some issues with books and opening them because they explode. So I am going to turn into a saber-toothed tiger, and I'm going to open it as a saber-toothed tiger.
Yeah. I mean, you can certainly like paw at it and like bat it around. Whether or not that specifically would trigger something because it's kind of being a bit rough with it.
Yeah, but is it a lock on it or anything?
There's no visible lock.
So it shouldn't be too hard to kind of paw it open.
Yeah.
We shouldn't do this in here.
Oh,
Like that.
I was just, what the fuck is that? It's a tiger with a baseball cap. So cute. Oh, look at me. I'm adorable.
I'm a smart kitty. I know how to open books. This
Yeah.
hat is proof.
I'm gonna sniff it first, and then I'm going to try and open it with my paw.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm
So
going to
you
close my eyes.
okay.
Just wait for an explosion.
Okay. You flip it, and the first page is blank.
Okay, so it didn't explode.
It didn't explode. The second page is blank. The third page is blank. By the time you get to sort of the fifth or sixth page, you start seeing some writing, and the magic of Graven Hollow starts to rearrange the scribbles and scrawls and etchings on the pages into words that you recognize, or can read, I should say. Volume 3,
Oh.
The Demonomicon by Igvild.
Igfeld?
I'll write for you.
Do I recognize the name?
You probably wouldn't. You can try if you're proficient in Arcana.
I'm not.
Okay. The first thing you notice is that this thing seems to go on and on about demons. And in the back, there's an index that specifically discusses some specific demon lords. You think this might be an extremely complete discussion about the demon lords, more so than possibly the unfinished works of Agamemnon Scorch. But of course, it's a very large tome, so you haven't quite got to that stage where you've completed everything, reviewing everything.
Okay. In the index in the back, do I see like Saktmoy or Jublex or?
It does cover Ganadar and Lolth.
Anything about Karansli?
No. Although, because you have met Kiransli, you know that Kiransli is not technically a demon lord.
Mhm.
Does anybody else want to do anything whilst Delin in cat form is trying to read this thing?
Yes, I want to take out my book from my backpack and place it on the table. We've got another one, guys.
Open it,
Yeah.
see what volume it is.
I'm not gonna open it. You can open it. I don't like this book. Ugh.
It didn't explode. Mox is gonna come down and join the rest of the crew.
Yes, when you place the second book next to the one that Delin's already opened, there is a little tingle of electricity, and you see that they seem to attach to each other.
Oh.
They don't form one book, but they do move closer, and one slides on top of the open one, slides on top of the unopened one, like two magnets being brought together.
I'm going to turn into myself again. Well,
Okay.
I just keep reading.
Oh.
It's a bit
Aw.
easier with thumbs,
Oh.
and it's easier to talk to everyone.
Okay.
Just meowing.
Meow, meow. Roar. Meow, meow, roar.
Well, the thing is with the comprehend languages spell, I mean, you can kind of get away with it. Okay, so you're reading which one? Just the third book? The one that you already opened?
If the other one's been put in front of me, and I'm gonna look through that as well, just to see
Okay.
kind of in the index if it's the same type setup, if there's an index in the back.
It's the same type setup.
Yeah,
And
I'll
there
just see
is
what that contains.
this one says Demonomicon Volume 4.
Oh, 4. Jesus.
And this one discusses Baphomet and Yeenoghu.
Is it
It
by
also
the
talks
same
about
author?
Yes, it's all by Igvil.
Do any of you guys
It should
know
be
who this
Igwilv, I should say. Sorry.
Igwilv is? I have no idea. Never heard of him.
No, but you can search him up.
If anybody is proficient in history or Arcana, I'll say Arcana. You can.
Nope. Not
There you go. There you go.
Reroll or
Yeah, if you're
Okay.
proficient in Arcana.
20.
So
Wait, is everyone proficient rolling for it?
huh?
Is everyone who's proficient rolling?
Only if you want to. You don't have to roll at
Oh.
all. All right, so Byleth is going to recognize them. Igwilf is also known as Tasha, as in the creator of hideous laughter.
Interesting. I'm gonna tell that to everyone.
Oh, wizard kind, probably.
We got a wizard writing the Demonomicon, and we've got 2 volumes. There's at least 2 others.
This is just to keep reading, I guess.
Yeah, it'll take you a long time to read it. This is a multi-thousand page volume each.
Yeah.
And aside from the fact that it's actually quite lengthy, although it isn't magical in the same sense that an artifact itself might be magical, it is quite an important book, and it's laced with magic, if that makes sense, if the distinction makes sense. Ulthar rather, suggests that you take the book, your 2 books, and feel free to either read them in the library or retire to one of the rooms that you have access to as patrons. But before that, Conan does actually hand a book to Cracker.
All right.
Finally.
Thank you. What is this?
I think you'll like it. It's got lots of fighting.
Ah, right on. Should I open it here or just I could take it in my room?
It's up to you. It's not a secret.
There's no like words in here, is there?
Well, no, it just kind of reads itself.
Oh, I like this. Okay. So I'm going to take the book with me into our rooms because I'm getting the idea that perhaps we all need a little rest.
Once you open the book,
Oh, yeah. I love it. Oh, I love it.
a little image of a dragon pops up and starts flying around on top of the book, whilst a little image of a knight in armor riding a horse also pops up. And the book itself starts to read, "There once was a noble dragon by the name of Slithertongue. Slithertongue was a fine dragon and often shared his spoils, pillaging human villages with his fellow great worms. But one day, while Slithertongue was napping, after an exceptionally greasy meal of a fat merchant, his plump wife, and their 3 overweight children, a nasty, dirty, no good knight snuck up on him and charged him after blowing a loud trumpet in challenge. The knight, probably a paladin, clearly cheated because he managed to stab poor noble Slithertongue in the snout, causing a terrible nosebleed, at which point Slithertongue sneezed, releasing a gout of warm dragon fire, and cooked the dastardly knight and his destrier. Yay, Slithertongue!"
Oh, I love it.
Oh, this is going to be a good book. Maybe we'll learn how to read. This is great. Books are great. So Cracker just sort of wanders off towards wherever we're staying.
Conan, hearing your enthusiasm, says, "Well, if you like that one, this one's got less pictures, but it's got some pretty cool moves." And he gives you this one. You can read that one, Yvonne.
Okay, it didn't come up for me.
It's
It's right in
chat.
Sorry, hold on. I have my notes in front of this. Hold on. I'm typing like crazy. Okay. Oh yeah. So Cracker takes the book from Conan and reads. Well, it doesn't read. Who's beside me here? Hold on. I nudge Byleth. Byleth. You gotta tell me what this says.
Oh, yeah, sure. I can do that. I'm gonna start to read. Murder on the dance floor. Cool moves for ballerinas and gladiators. So, you. It has been said that when 2 skilled melee combatants face off, it is like a dance of death. On one move, that is. Sure to impress in both the discotheque as well as the fighting pits is the grapple toss, also known as the dirty dancing lift. Simply take hold of the waist of your dance partner or opponent, lift, and toss in the air. While dancing, this should be conducted with the partner's knowledge. But in combat, a successful toss can both lead to falling damage and leaving the enemy prone, which, if executed with coordinated attack by others or with a spell such as haste or a ready attack action, can follow up attacks with advantage.
Wow. Okay.
Sounds great.
Someone's gonna have to teach me how to read. I'm starting to like books.
Moxie.
Have I become the team tutor?
Yep.
Okay. Mutter something about trying to keep me out of trouble. I see how it is.
Cracker tries to lift Byleth in the air like a dancer.
I'm very confused, but I let it happen.
Yeah, the rest of you watch as this incredible, beautiful move of this huge dragonborn with her arms and legs spread out eagle style being lifted by the waist by the barbarian, and sort of you twirl a little bit, and somewhere deep in the background you hear some soft, gentle music. I had the time of my life.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yep. Too funny. That is fantastic.
And folks, that is where we're going to end today.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's great.
Love the pop-up book.
All right. Well, thanks very much, everybody. Always hope you guys enjoyed it. I certainly did. I will see everybody next Sunday. Have a wonderful week.
Thank you.
You
too.
as well.
You too.
Bye, guys.
Take care.
Have a good one, guys.
Take care.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.